May the 10th, Friday. It is time for the second of our bonuses for the Building Your Online Business Bootcamp. Steve Dotto here along with April, and Bob is in the green room. Hi, April. How are you today?
I'm good. Happy Friday, friends.
Happy Friday indeed. It's a good one today. Well, everyone's a good one. You know, since we've taken the boot camp and we've compressed it down, every lesson now and bonus is jam packed with goodness. I'm trying to come up with a cute word, but I couldn't come up with a cute word.
I see. But
I could ask AI to help me today, because today it's all about the AI advantage. So, just out of curiosity, if you are in the chat, just let me know if you're using AI. Say yes. If you occasionally use it, say occasionally. If you're still new to it, just put down new. I'd be really curious as to how much experience everybody has with AI, because I guess it's been a year since it's been it was about this time last year that it started to pop into our consciousness, wasn't it? It was early summer, late spring last year, and some people using it. Leslie's new, is Richard's new, using it, and it's amazing. Dream forever. Indeed, it is new. Good. Occasionally good. So those of you who use it a lot, we'll be covering a lot of familiar territory for you today. But those of you who are new to it, are just using it occasionally, I think we're going to open your eyes. And there's a part that the middle of this demo today, when I dive into actually taking you through kind of the workflow with AI, I think is just some really eye-opening content, really eye-opening content in that space. And you're like April, you use primarily it's I've lost the name of it.
Right Sonic.
Right Sonic. That's your main. And how long have you used it for?
We've been using it about 6 months now. We used a few other ones, and I really like this one because it has it does some of the research for you, which is great. So like if I have an idea of a topic, it can pull in some recommendations, or if I've done research on a topic and I like a series of blog posts, I can actually put it in all of those posts, and I can have it write something for me that's new, and then I can go and I can tweak that. And so, yeah, I like it a lot. I use ChatGPT too for help with because of the veterans organization, they have the same activities every week. So you kind of run out of saying the same things to post on social media. So I use it to help with changing up some of my social media posts. But the only thing that I would say is that sometimes what I find in building these content, they use a lot of the same words, right? So you really have to read through it.
So this is the kind of the fascinating kind of the give and take that we're all going to have with AI, because AI will lift a lot of the responsibility off our shoulder. Like April's saying, writing the same thing every week. I have that problem doing a promo for Webinar Wednesday, because I've written hundreds and hundreds of them. And so coming up with a new promo is, I find it, I've said that. Now one thing the content creator has to remember is everybody doesn't remember which one they read 3 weeks ago. So they don't necessarily go, oh, Steve's repeating himself. So
right.
Nevertheless, it's a brainworm that bugs the heck out of us when we're doing it. But AI is a terrific release for that, because you tell it, create 15 new titles for this, it'll do it, and it doesn't bother it at all. But so but the issue is that we feel like, oh, we're taking a shortcut, because this is always something that bugs me. Now it's being taken care of for me. It can't possibly be good. And even if it does sound a little bit AI, for repeating things like that aren't creative, that are just reminders, I don't think it's that big a deal. We use automated reminders on our phone. We don't expect our spouse to call us and gently wake us up in the morning. Darling, it's 6 a.m. It's time to get out of bed. No, we're happy to let the machine wake us up, because it's a repeating thing that happens over and over again.
Right. So right? Absolutely. For the EV store, I'm looking at creating a podcast. So I've used AI a lot to come up with like titles, like what would be a good podcast title. I haven't found something that I'm, but what it did is it's generated a lot of ideas. And then I go and I'm like, okay, where is this word used? And so that has been an interesting But I also find it's also my input too, right? What you input sometimes is what you get back.
Yeah, indeed. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to we're going to jump into today's video. The video is a little on the longer side today. It's a little bit over 30 minutes, so we got quite a bit to watch. We'll be in chat as we're going along, and I'm really going to be interested in seeing what your guys take as we go through the different aspects of AI. So let's dive into it right now. The AI advantage. We will see you on the other side of the tutorial. I am somewhat torn when it comes to AI. On one hand, I am thrilled and just amazed by the unbelievable opportunity that AI represents, just the technical brilliance of, amazed at the ability of us as a species to have created this advanced technology. On the other side, I'm terrified by it, what it's going to mean to our business, how it's going to impact our business, but more importantly, how it's going to impact our society as it grows. I don't think that we've shown a remarkable ability to be able to always trust our better angels when it comes to any technology that we create. And AI has the potential to be a truly monstrous bit of technology. Having said that, it's here and it's going to be impacting everything we do. So our goal today is to understand how it's going to impact us, whether or not we're starting out a brand new business, reinventing ourselves, or whether we have an existing business that AI is going to totally disrupt. We have to understand how we can use AI, how we should position it, and how we can build our relationship with this tool. And it really is a relationship with a tool. Unlike any other technology, we have a relationship with AI because AI is the closest thing to another entity than we can come up with because of the way AI thinks and the way AI works. It works very much like we do as humans. More on that in a moment. My goal today is for you to understand your relationship. Now, if you've done stuff with AI, we're going to be covering a lot of ground that you've experienced before. But if you're new to AI, then be prepared to have your mind blown because we are going to be showcasing technology, which even though I use it every day, I'm still amazed by. We're going to be focused on using it from a perspective of content creation and marketing. And I think we should begin with just what is AI. And when we say AI, we're really referring to a more advanced or a more accurate term, generative AI. And the simplest form, generative AI is the computer, the machine, the network, thinking the way that we do, doing the same things that a human does for creating content, for creating thoughts, and for communicating. It takes all of the experience that it can find, all of the knowledge that it can find, in this case, everything that it's gathered from basically reading everything that's ever happened online. It pulls all of that together and then responds to input stimuli. It responds to a question being asked of it or a comment being made to it by pulling these different disparate parts together, forming some sort of cohesive narrative, and then using a language or a different communication or graphics perhaps, but mainly words, to convey and to communicate back what it's being requested of it. So it very much works like our brain works. There's a neural network that is a part of the entire generative AI system, which it causes it to be very human-like in it, which is why so many of us talk to it politely because it seems that we are actually having interaction with an entity. This video, I'm going to share a video with you, which is here on YouTube. It's by Henrik Nyberg. This is the best description that I've seen of how AI works. It's an 18-minute tutorial. He did a lot of work, but he explains it with tremendous clarity and accuracy as far as I can tell. But of all of and I've looked at a lot of different tutorials on how AI works. This is the best one. It's well worth you spending 20 minutes going through this. Take the time. I will share the link with you, but it will give you a great comprehension of the tool that we are talking about, of the tool that we are using. So what I want to do now is I want to start using AI, and we're going to use AI in two different ways today. We're actually going to go into two different demos. One, we're going to go into a basic demo showing you basically how AI works and how you can work with AI. And the second is going to be looking at it in the actual line of fire, how it can actually support us, I think, in a really positive way in the type of work that we create here or that you will be creating in your day-to-day work. So let's begin with the basic demo first. And if you haven't seen AI before, this is going to be your first introduction. And we'll just use a basic tool. We use ChatGPT, which is one of several generic AI tools. Now, this is the interface that you are brought into. This is my version of ChatGPT. Now, I do pay for the premium version. It costs me about $20 a month. The basic version is going to do almost everything that I'm going to show you right now. I'll tell you where we diverge from the free version to the paid version. But everything I'm going to do, the free version will do as well. So it's called ChatGPT because our interface, the way that we communicate, the language we use is a chat interface, is like Messenger or a texting interface where we have a conversation with the machine. We enter our information in a little chat window, just as if you're texting to your friend, and you could ask it to do something. And the messages that we put in here are called prompts. And you'll hear that term a lot. Prompt engineering means that it's how you phrase, how accurately you phrase the query that you give to the entity. It basically informs how valuable the content is coming back to you. If you're very specific about what you're looking for, it will come back with very specific answers, theoretically. And if you're a little more generic, it's going to come back with a little bit more generic answers. And if you create bias in the question that you're asking, chances are it will come back with bias. Let's just do it. So maybe I woke up this morning and I have to do a video and I'm a little bit under the weather. I don't have my imagination engine internally is not working too well, but there's been a lot of interest in Gmail that I've been reading about in my comments. So I'm going to say, let's do a video on Gmail. So I'm going to ask, what are the most common issues people have with Gmail? Hit enter. And now ChatGPT is looking in its memory. Just if you ask me the question, if you say, Steve, what are the most common issues people have? I'm not reading this yet. I would probably come back saying people have login issues. They're concerned about security. They're typically concerned about how much storage they have. And they're wondering about privacy. There's a lot of questions about privacy. And I just pulled that information out of my own neural network of my memory in what I remember people commenting to me. So let's see what it came back with. Login problems, sending and receiving emails, spam and junk mail, storage limits. I did mention that. Organizing and searching, security concerns. I mentioned that. Syncing issues and attachment issues. Okay. So I'm going to say, please expand on number one. Now, I could say on login problems, but it knows that number one, because we're in a threaded chat, it knows that number one is login problems. So it's going to say here, please expand on number one. So people have issues with forgotten passwords, and it gives a solution. Two-factor authentication issues. So I could take any one of these and I could say, oh, that sounds, if it resonates with me, that's something that I might want to do a video on. And I can actually take that and I can drill down deeper. I can do my own research. I can craft my own script. This might be the process that I use to create a tutorial video for Gmail issues that I might want to create for my particular channel. Or this is where we start getting into the murky space. I say, this is a pretty good solution that it's come up with. I'm going to ask ChatGPT a short blog post on number one. Oh, now we get into murky waters. Navigating Gmail login issues, solutions, and prevention. It's going to write a pretty darn good blog post. And now, those of you who are experienced with AI might recognize that this blog post has been written by an AI entity, by an AI engine, but it'll do a good job. And this is where the temptation starts to raise up, saying, wow, I can create a blog post for my community, for my newsletter, for my website, this quickly and this easily. And watch. Well, let's first of all look at what it's come up with. Navigating Gmail login issues, solutions, and prevention. Number one, forgotten passwords. The most common hiccup users encounter is forgetting their password. A simple yet obstructive problem. Solution, use Gmail's password recovery. Two-factor authentication greatly enhances. So it's giving context, document security, account security, but can complicate logging in if you're unable to receive the verification code. Now, AI will do more than create a blog post for us. I'm going to say create graphic this post. It'll do almost everything for us. Create a graphic for the post. So now it's using DALL-E, which is an image generator. This is one of the areas that I can do in the paid version that you can't do in the free version. You'd have to go to another image creation tool. But you could take this entire post and you could give it to them and you could say, give it to and say, create a graphic based on this. But here's the graphic it came up with. It came up with a login screen. Now, one of the things that we do find with the graphics that are created is quite often there are little spelling mistakes. That should say multi-factor or two-step verification. And it's got a few little words wrong here and there. This is one of the bugs that happens to be in AI. You can actually use another AI tool. You could go into Canva and we could actually correct these words if I wanted to post this picture. So there's already solutions for all of this sort of thing. But that's a pretty darn good graphic for this particular post. I think you'll agree that it has done a very credible job of coming up with some viable content, helping me in the research phase, and then helping me come up with content. And I could have drilled down and I could have used, instead of asking it to actually write the blog post, I could have said, please suggest 5 titles for a blog post, or please create an outline for a blog post. And then I might have written it myself. So there's a lot of different ways that we can work iteratively with the AI entity because it's all in a conversation. But you see here just how capable AI is and how it works with us and how we can use it for generating a lot more content than we could do through our brute force, the way that we did content even just a year ago. You need to recognize that the AI will return often inaccurate information. The reason being that everything that it finds online isn't accurate. There's conspiracy theories along with the real truth and really accurate information. So what you need to do if you're using AI, especially if you're using it in the research phase, when you're deciding on what you're going to be talking about or what the answers are that you're going to be creating, if you're in the they ask you answer and you're using it to help you, what the answers are going to be, is treat the information that AI comes back with as a well-intentioned yet gullible friend who's advising you. So very well read, but somebody who tends to fall for every conspiracy theory that is out there, or if they read it, they believe it. They're gullible. So consequently, if you're writing about space travel or about space, you might end up with content in that comes back, which indicates the Earth is flat. AI doesn't think the Earth is flat, but people do post information online, and there's lots of websites where they say the Earth is flat. And if that happens to be whatever the neural engine is triggered to bring in and incorporate in the conversation or in the reply, you might end up with a post that comes back that indicates the world is flat. So you've got to do your research yourself and make sure that everything that you put in and publish is accurate. You are the final arbiter of what is good and what is accurate. Now, having said that, the tools that we use, these public tools like ChatGPT that basically draw from the general internet, they are susceptible to this kind of hallucinations. They call it AI hallucinations, because it's not lying on purpose. It's hallucinating. It's coming back with what it thinks it sees this, so that's why it presents that information. However, there are other AI tools that we can count on being more accurate for us. For example, I'm going to share a video with you in the resources that I did on Google's Notebook LM, which is a Google AI tool which allows you to take and upload or ingest your own information. So you can ingest a book, or you can ingest I ingested the transcripts of all of my courses that I deliver, of all of the courses that I deliver here inside of the bootcamp. And then I can start to ask it questions, and it's going to draw based on the information that it saw in those courses that it has from those transcripts. And we call that source grounded AI, where it is drawing information and giving us responses from information that we have vetted and we have actually loaded into it. So think about this if you have an employee handbook, or if you have a contract, if you upload a contract into it and then you ask it questions about the contract, it will quickly read through the contract and bring you back the relevant information from the contract. So this creates some really interesting and compelling new ways of using AI. So the AI doesn't always have to be untrustworthy information that's coming from the public. At times you can build an AI tool, or you can have a relationship with your AI entity where you have content that you have vetted the value and the accuracy of that content. It opens up some really exciting new doors for the future of AI. What I'd like to do next is take you through an AI workflow. And this is something that I actually do as I'm creating my content. Because the AI tools, actually, I'll take you to the toolkit first. The AI toolkit has so many different applications, and we're finding AI popping up in so many different places. In the AI toolkit, you'll have heard of many of these tools. We've got what I call the Swiss Army knives. These are the general tools that we can use and we can apply to almost any type of application. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, even a tool like Grammarly, which is a spell checker but has AI built in. Those are designed to be used in almost any environment and do almost anything with. You can do everything you want to do inside of ChatGPT. Now, there are other tools that are built specifically for certain types of purposes. For marketers, there's a tool like Sonic or Jasper that has a lot of that's structured in such a way as to be designed for copywriting, for creating copy, and the way that the prompts are structured, the way that the interface is structured, the templates that are built into it are designed specifically to help marketers. So there are both generic and specific tools available to us. For content creators, I'm going to show you a tool called Descript in a few moments, which is what I use for my AI workflow. And there's other tools that are similar, but they really work specifically terrifically well for people who create video or audio content. And the other thing you're going to start to see is you're going to see AI rolled into tools that you already use. Actually, let me just take you in. I'm going to show you Loom, which is a video recording tool that we use for sending quick screen recordings back and forth. And it's a terrific tech support tool. It's terrific for onboarding and for teaching people processes. But take a look at all of the AI features that are now built in to this. And they've just been releasing them. And every time I open it, there seems to be a new AI feature built in. So this actually kind of blew me away when I discovered it. So I recorded a little bit of a screen capture to let tech support know of an issue I was having, but it listened to the narration and then it created a summary with all of the different main points that I made inside of the video, which then attaches to the video that I sent out. This is a relatively inexpensive screen recording tool that has all of this really useful, intelligent AI built into it now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through our own workflow that we use, or a workflow that I use, and I'm going to use Descript for this. This is Descript. Now, Descript is a video and audio editing package that's primarily, I think, was originally created really for podcasting, but it is basically a modern media editor. It allows us to edit audio and to edit video and use a variety of different AI tools and technology in a really unique way. So most video editors look like traditionally have been linear based, where we have film strips and timelines that we cut back and forth between different channels and different tracks to compose our video or audio. This is the same. We would look at it and we would just see the waveform of the audio. But Descript does something entirely differently. So Descript, by the way, costs about $200 a year, and I do have the paid version here. But Descript will allow us to edit our content based on traditional timelines that you see here along the bottom. But instead of that, the kind of the secret sauce to Descript is the fact that when you record a video or when you import a video into Descript or an audio file, it takes, and the first thing it does is it creates a transcript from it. And it's using AI to create that transcript. Now, the transcript is here. You can see it here. And it does a very accurate and very good job of creating a transcript. Now, this video here is one that I recorded earlier this week. This is for Webinar Wednesday. So this is the actual file that I recorded for Webinar Wednesday. So I sat down in front of the computer, and inside of Descript, we have the ability to record directly into the tool itself. So I use this recording tool to record the presentation, and it is let me just close down this timeline. It is 28 minutes long is the content, and you can see all of the words here. And so if we take a look here at the screens, there's the video and there's the screens in the background, and we go here, click anywhere in it. So what they do is you click on the link, you can see the video, and we see the transcript being, we see the cursor moving on the transcript in time with the video. This is where the magic happens in Descript. The transcript is tied to the media file, which is the video. Meaning we not only can see what's happening in the transcript with what's happening in the video, but we can edit the video here in the transcript. So if I want to take this line here, enter your name, username, and password. Enter your username and password. If I want to just take that out, in the past, what I'd have to do inside of a video editing package is I'd have to find the waveform and I have to highlight that and then use like a razor blade tool to delete it and move the media track back. I don't have to do that to edit this. I just highlight it, I delete it, and now we go, you click on the link, which is what they're looking for. Let's put it back. You click on the link, you enter your username and password. This is magic. This cuts the editing time by a substantial percentage because I don't have to listen to the file in order to determine where mistakes are made or where I want to make cuts. I can read it, which is so much more efficient and so much faster. So I don't have to look for the waveform as I'm doing each stage of the editing. This alone is revolutionary. Many editing packages are doing this now, but this is just a better way to edit for this type of content. But the AI features that are built into this tool go well beyond that. If we look up here under the actions menu, we find the different things that it can do for us. And one of those is remove filler words. I stumble all the time. I say, and you can see right here, I repeat words, that sort of stuff. I say remove filler words. It goes through the entire 28-minute document. It finds 163 times that I said or stuttered inside of the document. And it's highlighted all of them. See, but many, right? It's highlighted them all. Look at the time code. Let's like 28 minutes and 54 seconds. I can ask it to remove all. This is like search and replace for mistakes. Remove all of these. And now we've taken, what, 30 seconds of ums and ahs out of the video. But we've cleaned up and made me seem so much more intelligent with one click of the mouse. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. The AI also listens to everything we say. So if I want to change this thing here where it says the primary threats, I want to change that to scary things. So let's have a listen. The primary threats. Okay, I'm going to change this. I highlight it, and I can ask it to replace by overdubbing the words. Now I can change the text in the word, which means that the transcript will change, but it's not going to change what I say. The AI tool here, the Descript, has been listening to the sound of my voice for the entire file. So it knows how I sound. It's got a sample set so that it can recreate my voice should it choose to. So I'm going to ask it here to overdub. I'm going to say scary things. I'm going to ask it to overdub. Now see how it's crossed out the word. It's going to say replace these words with scary things. These are real world applications. I misspeak all the time. And typically speaking, if I misspeak something, I'll have to put up some sort of disclaimer if it's after I've recorded. Or if somebody's misspoken and you want to change a word, you have to you can't correct it because you don't have the original person. And there it's now turned solid. So let's have a listen. The scary things that we face online. We'll also talk about. Isn't that amazing? Now it doesn't match the video. It just changes the audio. The scary things that we face online. Now, I've just noticed a difference. They've just updated Descript, and for some reason, it's cutting out the video at that point, so I might have to edit in a still frame if I was correcting it. I didn't used to have to do that, so it might be just a bug, but the important thing is to have a listen. I changed the scary things that, if I undo it, the primary threats. Isn't that amazing? But wait, there's more. If I go down to the Ask AI feature, I can now ask it to do, it's giving me some suggestions to allow me to edit. So one of the ways that you could use this in content creation is you could record a trial version. You could, if you're going to do a podcast, you could record it. It would have the entire script there, and then you can edit that script and then re-record the script should you choose to. That's a great kind of a great workflow that you can put in place. You can also have it go through and shorten all the word gaps, which will tighten up for editing, or we can create content from it. We can repurpose and package the information here. So it's got all of the key information from this webinar that I've delivered. So I can ask it to, first of all, suggest a title. Suggest a title for this. And it's going to come up with, and this was a webinar on online threats. So it comes up with a series of titles because it's looked at all the content and it's come up with relevant titles. These are actually pretty good. I can also, if we go in here, ask it to, this is where it comes really useful, create a YouTube description. Creating a YouTube description. These are the things that used to drive me crazy creating a video. I'd spend all this time working on the video, and then I'd have to come up with a title. I'd have to come up with a description for YouTube and a timestamp summary. I have to go through each YouTube video, find the key points, put down the time code of where they are, because I need to add that when I'm publishing in YouTube. Take a look at this. There's what it's delivered for us. It has navigating online security. This webinar, it gives a description, and then it's got a timestamp summary of the different key points inside of the video. In the past, we would have to either do this ourselves, which I found to be drudgery, or we would have somebody else do it. But that means they had to listen to a 30-minute video, then they had to make notes on it, then they had to go through and they had to highlight the different points, and then they had to type out the time code for each of the different points to create the chapter summary that we see here. It took seconds to do it. Now, it might not be quite as accurate and quite as good a job, but this is very serviceable. And if I spend time and read through it and edit it and spend 5 more minutes on it, then I've got a really good usable piece of content that's part of the packaging for the video that I've created in almost no time. As a content creator, this it saves me hours, but it also, of not having to do the frustrating busy work type of stuff that I used to have to do that I hated doing, that was part of my job. It'll do other things here as well. We could ask it to create a blog post from it. We could ask it to find the highlights, find good clips. This is something that new that they've added. I can ask it to go through, pick out clips, and then it'll suggest the clips that I can then use to create social posts, where it now becomes repurposing the content so that I can create vertical videos, because I can reformat, I can export the video in different formats from here. Oh, not only can I exit from different formats, which would be then great for using for Twitter or for Instagram or for any sort of shorts format, I can go here into the text menu, into captions, and we have a subscription with. And it says, and it automatically puts in all of the captions. And we can go through and we can format the size, we can change the position, we can change the style. If we're going to be formatting it for narrow video, if we're going to be outputting a narrow video, some extra information, or you're overdrawn, or we need you. Again, AI supporting us in the packaging of information, of the content that we create, saving us time. In the past, again, what would we have had to do? We would have had to take a video, edit the video, output it, bring it into another package to caption it, create the captions, check the captions, output the video again, all done inside of a single package. And this, as I say, is not an expensive piece of software. This script costs, I think it's $200 a year. And I want you to recognize one thing. Descript is just one piece of software. It's the one that I happen to be using and the one that I've got good at using because it does so many things. But there are, every time I show it, people tell me, well, have you looked at such and such? Have you looked at such and such? It does the same thing, or it does something very similar, or it does something better. This is just one tool. This is the impact AI is having. Now, folding this into our work process, recognizing what we can do and how we can take a good piece of content that we created ourselves, because I created this video, and then using AI to intelligently create supporting content that packages it and repurposes it. That to me is one of the real magic uses and one of the most efficient ways that we can use AI. How do we know where we should be and shouldn't be using AI and what's proper for us? And I think it's a moving target as far as the AI is concerned. But I'm going to share with you what I call known as conundrum. And because I always try and come up with an analogy that makes sense. My grandmother, my Italian grandmother, taught me to cook. And for her, food was the essence of our family life. The kitchen was the heart of the family, and food was love, as far as known is concerned. But food's not love. Food is sustenance. Food is what we eat. Our relationships were based around known as preparation of the food, and much of it, and it was intrinsic to that communication and to that relationship. But food was still nutrition. It kept the body going. And there's fast food. Fast food does that. It can be, whether or not it's super nutritious or not, it's not the point here. Fast food is a technology provided way to get food into our body. And there was a place for it. There's a time and a place for it. But in my known as kitchen, there was no place for fast food because it was the sweat equity. It was the process of the creation of the food and the tradition of the creation of the food and the intent of the creation of the food that made known as food for the soul as well as food for the body. So we should recognize that. Now, we don't have to be quite as poetic and profound as we look at the creation of AI content using it. But I think we should, when we're creating content for our community, show them a little love. Make it come from the kitchen rather than from the fast food location. So when we go about creating content, let's determine what is worth our extra effort that we put into it with sweat equity, with intent, and let's determine what is more pragmatic content, what's more just as fuel. And let's make sure that we take advantage of the tool for the convenience and the efficiency of the fuel-based content, and that we don't deny the relationship building aspect of the love-based content that we create. My perspective is create the original content yourself as much as possible, and then let AI iterate off that content. The example that I just showed you is perfect. I had to record the video that we showcased. That was done in known as kitchen. But then using AI to package it and to repurpose it is the way to make it, to use it much more efficiently. And so maybe the 80-20 rule works. The 80-20 rule seems to work everywhere else in our life. So maybe the 80-20 rule works. So you spend 80% of your time creating the original content, then 20% of your time creating the packaging and the repurposing because it's so efficient with AI. And maybe we can take that into the actual production of the content itself. That 80% of your energy goes into the creation of the content, and 20% is how AI helps you, coming up with the ideas, overcoming roadblocks, coming up with titles or an outline, so that we look at 80% effort from us versus 20% input from our collaborator, from our AI collaborator. I don't know if those numbers are going to be accurate, but they're a good place to start. Consider that you don't want the preponderance of the effort coming from the AI entity. You want the preponderance of the effort coming from you. Because we still own one advantage, our experience. And we can't deny the value of our experience. It is the essence of, it's the heart of the businesses that we are building. And the only way that we apply that experience is making sure that experience is what is the kind of the prime motivator in our content creation. And when you're creating content, listen to your spidey senses. If it feels too easy, if it feels like you're taking a shortcut, maybe you're taking a shortcut and you should reevaluate the process that you're going through and think about maybe getting closer to the 80-20 split that I'm suggesting. Now, what should we be doing? Those of us that are here in the bootcamp, Baby Boomers and GenXers, I think we all have to lean into AI. AI is not something that we can take a step back from. It is going to have an impact on all industries, all businesses. And it's our job to figure out how it's going to impact our business, whether it's an existing business or whether it's a new business. So develop all the new skills, play with all of the tools, try everything that you can. Don't necessarily trust everything that you try, but try it, see what it does. And just make sure that you always rely on your experience and your spidey senses to stay anchored. Recognize that the pendulum is going to swing. Right now it's swinging way out over the AI. And so you're going to see so much content coming through from AI. Some people are just going to blow their minds with what they do with AI. They're going to completely go off the deep end. You'll see people recommending, you'll see already, you'll get ads saying, create 1 year's worth of content in 10 minutes. What? You'll see those ads. And there are people that are going to say, I'm going to create a year's worth of content in 10 minutes. And hopefully those people will be in our rearview mirror as our businesses grow, but recognize that the pendulum's going to swing, and then there'll be a backlash to that as well. Now, we do have one tool to help us in that particular space that's part of the gray wave, and that is the AI Academy. So last time that we did this, the boot camp at the end of 2023, AI was already starting to pick up momentum. We recognized what it was representing. And we also recognized that we didn't have the answers to everything relating to AI. We weren't at that point yet in our own development, and we still aren't. So we formed the AI Academy as an adjunct to the Gray Wave. Every member of the Gray Wave gets access to the AI Academy. If you aren't a member of the Gray Wave, you can sign up for the AI Academy and pay separately. It's $69 or $59 a month to gain access. So it's only $40 a month more to join the whole Gray Wave. So most people that are interested join the Gray Wave, but you can join the AI Academy alone. Each week, we dive into one aspect of AI, and it's a voyage of discovery. We're typically looking at new tools, new ways of using tools, ways that we've tested and tried, and it's very much a community effort. There's a separate Facebook group for the AI Academy, and inside of this group, people are sharing their experiences, sharing their suggestions, sharing their advice. And the AI Academy is like a little microcosm of what happens in the Gray Wave itself, but purely focused on AI, and it's proving to be an incredibly valuable resource. I think it's going to have a time limit that it is super valuable. There will come a time in the next few years when we understand AI and we basically all have a handle on where it fits. We aren't there yet. So until that time, the AI Academy is a terrific resource that's there to help you. Let's get to the Q&A. There we go. Deep dive into AI.
For sure.
Chat was active, April.
It was active. There's lots of questions.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Do you like the Nona's kitchen analogy? It's a new one. I just baked it.
I do. I was trying to actually, when you said that, I was trying to think. I was like, I didn't know that you're Italian.
What?
So this is going to sound totally biased, and I apologize to anyone, but I was like, he's Canadian. How is he Italian? That's what I was thinking in my head.
My father was conceived in Italy, but born in Canada. His parents won a trip around the world, and they left Italy. And by the time they got to Vancouver, as they were traveling around the world, Nona was profoundly pregnant. They'd missed the boat. They never left. So he was made in Italy, but born in Canada.
I know that you, I did know that you called her Nona because you've said stories about it, but I just didn't put two and two together. And I don't know. I think of Canada as Canadians. I don't think of them as like, us vibrant ethnic culture here.
We are a tapestry. In Canada, we are a tapestry. You are a melting pot. We are a tapestry.
A melting pot for sure. All righty. So let's get to it. I am into photo restoration and enhancement. Will you be touching on that world at all?
Oh, well, inside of the AI Academy, we certainly talk about, all aspects. And yeah, photo retouching, photo editing, image editing. We have already done some content on that, and you'll be touching on that a little bit coming up too. In your you're doing a Canva workshop coming up in the very near future as well, inside of the Gray Wave, right, April?
At the end of the summer. Yep.
Yeah. Now, we don't, to be fair, we don't dive into, at this point, we don't get into the really deep Photoshop type applications. We're into more consumer, but we do, it is definitely on the agenda.
I love the analogy To the kitchen regards, when you use Gen AI, how do you ensure your customers know there is a real kitchen? Is this why video is so important versus written content?
Alan, you've absolutely nailed my point. This is why I believe that video, podcasts, live streaming is on the ascent. These dynamic medias are on the ascent because it's so much more difficult for AI to spoof that it's been created. So if we want real relationships if we want to form relationships with our community, they have to know that we're there. They have to know there's a real kitchen. That's a great way to put it. And yes, that's why this is so important.
Will AI help me write a resume?
AI will write a brilliant resume.
Yeah, but I'd be really careful with that.
Okay. Here's the thing. Nobody reads resumes anymore. When you write a resume, you're writing a resume for AI, because all the companies, they put the resumes through some sort of a filter that's reading, it's looking for the keywords. So I would dare to say and argue that an AI written resume is going to be even more efficient because it's written by the machine for the machine. It's speaking the language, as it were.
I don't know. The whole hiring world is just disappointing these days. So,
well, everybody here is hopefully looking to work for themselves.
Right. Do you think that Descript will replace Loom, as I use Loom, but you can do the same thing in Descript screen recording?
So the big difference is, yes, Descript allows you to record screens, and I record the screens as well as the video. But Loom does it with a design that's designed for kind of one-on-one sharing, and it creates links and it creates threaded conversations based on that video. So if you're creating tutorials like I create that you broadcast to many people, I'd say Descript is a better tool. But if I just want to show April how to do something on the computer, on the screen, I want to share some screenshots with her and have a conversation going back and forth, Loom is still a vastly superior tool because of the built-in communication capabilities. And it now has all of these extra AI capabilities layered on top.
What's the difference between the AI in Grammarly and in ChatGPT?
It's the AI in Grammarly is specifically written. It's kind of a plugin, so it kind of tags on. It comes up like a spell checker would. So it finds something and you highlight an area of text and you say, could you improve this? Could you work on it? The AI in Grammarly primarily is written to allow you to modify and augment the text that you're writing. You can ask it to create fresh content, but it's not really there. The AI in ChatGPT is you're creating fresh content. And if you want it to edit something, you have to kind of copy and paste it in. So it's the same engines, it's the same feedback, but it's just the format that you apply it with, the way that you apply the tool. Right. Many people use both.
What was the first AI April used? So I currently use Write Sonic, but I actually used Copymatic for a while. And I could drop a link here in the chat there. That's what I used previously. All right. What AI tools are responding to prompts in real time? Example 5/10/2024.
So the concern here is that the free version of ChatGPT, the database, the information that it's kind of incorporating into its responses ended in 2021, I think, or what, I don't know what the date is. But I think all the paid version of all of the AI tools are as up to date as you can be.
Oh, sorry. I recently watched a YouTube vlog that said Amazon Books won't accept AI generated content. If I write the origin content, then use ChatGPT as an editing tool, is that AI generated?
I don't think so. I think that that is the exact right way to use it as a collaborator, and asking it to. That's just my current threshold. So,
wouldn't you be better served with using Grammarly though to edit it, just because it's such a small? It's not ChatGPT. I don't know. It just feels less AI. I know they have AI, but.
Well, it depends how much you accept, and it depends how you use it for editing. Grammarly could, but she is you could be better off with another tool, but the process of crafting the original content than using AI is, I think, really good. There's another AI tool which is fairly expensive that I like called Jasper, which one of the things that I like about it is when you're writing is if you get stuck is you can ask Jasper to write the next line sentence for you to kind of get you unstuck. Typically speaking, for me, when I write that way, I don't like what it says, but it gets me thinking. And if I know what I don't want, it kind of puts me to where what I do want. So that process for me has worked. We're all going to develop our own workflows with AI, understanding what the tool can give to you, how it can give you. That's the important part at this phase in our evolution, is understanding what the tool will do for you, and then you will create your own workflows, just as I've done. That you've seen. Now I've been using AI in Descript now for about 3 months, and you can see that I actually have a fairly polished workflow that has evolved with it with Descript.
Let's see. I gotta unstar this. Okay. Does ChatGPT or other similar tools save history requests, or do you have the option to not save?
So ChatGPT now in the paid version saves 30 days of your content. Now, I should point out that I didn't even show you folks anything around the customization or the writing in your voice. These tools have the ability to learn your preferences as you go and to start to create content that's more and more tailored to your specific voice, your style of writing, or your specific content. And there are a couple of different ways that you can train them, that you can train the different chat tools. We've got some great tutorials inside of the AI Academy that walk you through that process. Now, ChatGPT has always had a limited kind of history, but that they've expanded it just in the last couple of months, or maybe even a couple of weeks. But I know now that they're saving 30 days worth of content, and there are other tools that we have discovered as well that extend that metaphor. For example, you can't search for your previous chats inside of ChatGPT, but you can add a browser extension that will allow you to search your previous chats. So there's a lot of different ways that you can MacGyver the system yourself.
In the resources, do you have all the links to the softwares that you shared today?
There will be,
and the YouTube video?
Yeah, that's
just because there's a few questions of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as I publish the it inside of the inside of the boot camp, there'll be the links to the tools.
I have posted archive written Taya and asked ChatGPT and Copilot and Microsoft to break it into a series of points for repurposing evergreen content. How would this compare to your other mentioned blog tool, Notebook, LM, Loom, etc.?
Okay. So Notebook LM is the other writing tool. And by the way, some people commented that they've gone to log in and you can only log in the United States. Yes. And I'm in Canada. If you use a VPN, you can log in to Notebook LM. So that's a workaround that you can use to test it. So Notebook LM works this way: is you take your source content, you take your trusted content, and you upload it to Notebook LM. And then when you interface with the chat interface in Notebook LM, you tell it to look in these sources. So it looks and it pulls the information that it finds in those sources. So it's going to theoretically be far more relevant content and on point with exactly what you're looking for. So the best example that I could come up with is back when I used to do a TV show. Every year I'd get a new contract from the television network that I worked with. And I would upload, if I had Notebook LM, I would upload each contract, and then I would say, what's the difference between contract 1 and contract 2, and how did we do this? And I would use it as I was kind of determining if there was anything that I had needed to address inside of the contracts. That would be a brilliant use of that sort of tool, and no other easy way to do that kind of thing.
Just so you know, we have like 5 or 6 minutes, and we have a lot of questions, so I'm just telling you for your answers.
Okay, so we will we'll probably go past the top of the hour today because this is important stuff.
How do you properly copy the info provided on ChatGPT without its formatting? I find it copies the provided text in a text box, which is copied. Also, when you paste it everywhere else, something I'm missing. Should it be exported instead? So
when you paste somewhere else, you can usually right-click your mouse and say paste without formatting. It should paste it in raw. That's one of the issues is the formatting is ugly as sin. And I've been looking for good tools to clean up formatting. And Evernote actually had a nice tool that would clean up formatting in notes in their AI tool, but it's in the latest version. I can't find it anymore. So I'm hoping that somebody's going to release a nice little utility that does automatic formatting for us. If anybody knows of one, share it. But the way around it is to format it yourself, and you can strip out all of the ugly formatting by right-clicking your mouse and saying paste without, or paste without formatting, or paste and match style are the kind of the two options that you'll typically see. And then it should paste it in without the bounding box and that sort of stuff.
That's what I do like about Right Sonic. I can export it and it formats fine.
Good for you. Go Right Sonic.
Does Descript work with different formats such as Android and iPhone?
Descript is a they have a version that's iPad. They do have a browser-based tool. They're desktop tools on Mac and Windows. They do have a browser interface that has a limited feature set, but I don't know about using it on mobile devices. I've never tried.
Can you talk about the most useful Canva AI?
I'm going to let April talk about that.
I actually don't personally use a lot of AI in Canva. When I have used it in the past, I really liked the AI that does the presentations. So it gives you kind of a starting point. So I do like that. I shouldn't say that. I do use their AI tools when I'm editing images.
Yeah, background removal.
Yeah, they have
now finding text and then changing text in a graphic. That's super useful.
Yeah, and I like the grab where you can grab
layers.
Like well, it actually, so if there's a picture of like a city, I can grab one building out of it and move and just use that in the image. So that's very cool. So I do use AI, but it's the editing features that I like the most. The other things, like I'm not a fan of the imagery like that, but that's just my personal opinion.
So in the creation process, limited, and I agree with you, but in the manipulation side, the AI is very useful.
Agreed. Will you be using local and cloud-based AI? I want to use it for cleaning up pre-recorded video.
Pre-recorded audio. We'll be using local and cloud-based AI. We don't limit. We just look for the tools that people are using. So if there's something, if you were say in the AI Academy, Dwayne, and you wanted more information on pre-recorded audio, in the chat in our forum, you would post in our Facebook group, and you would start a conversation and a thread on it, and you'd get feedback from other people who are interested in the same thing, and then you would let us know. We would be told, you would ask us questions about it, and it would then become part of kind of the conversation. And if I find tools, or if anybody else finds tools, then we would share them inside of the group, and it might be part of one of the lessons. So yes, but that's going to be on you to bring that energy to the AI group. It's not something that is there already.
Will AI Academy help me with teaching voice sample sets?
I don't know what that means, Wendy. The AI Academy is a working group. We meet once a week, and we have a presentation on one aspect of AI. Inside of the chat, inside of the Facebook group, we extend. People share their discoveries, they share their results, they share their challenges and problems, they ask questions. So very much like the Gray Wave in general, in a microcosm inside of the AI Academy. And we're interested in everything in the world of AI. But unlike the other Gray Wave content, I don't consider myself to be an expert on AI, and I don't believe we have an expert on AI because AI is too new. So it's a kind of a group voyage of discovery where we lead, and we kind of set the agenda, but the entire group together contributes.
Are there other AI videos already created in Bootcamp?
There are inside of this module. There are going to be 2 other videos. One of them on using Notebook LM, and that content, and the other one is, I can't remember what the other one is right now. I'm having a brain fart, but we've got some other source content inside of there.
Everything about the Gray Wave seems fantastic. However, although I would like to start an online business, I don't know yet what business to start. Will the Gray Wave help me with this, or do I need to know which business I want to start first?
I think ideally it's better if you know exactly what it is you're doing, but you could join monthly, and certainly the resources that we have inside of the Gray Wave, if you have an idea of kind of the general direction, it could help you define that. the early lessons here inside of the boot camp are really designed to help with that too. So I don't know if you've gone through the first 3 or 4 lessons, but they're really focused on helping you find the right business. One of the modules is called starting the right business. So I would suggest that you have a look at that. And I would say, yes, I believe it would help you. And the risk would be kind of going month by month and making sure that it would be up to you to dive in. But I can promise you that the community inside of the Gray Wave is incredibly supportive and responsive. And if you start a dialogue there, you'll get more feedback than you can handle.
Okay.
Both good and bad opinions, right, April? There'll be the odd bad opinion too.
Yes. No, it's just constructive feedback, I guess, right? That's
yes, exactly.
Will Descript remove the deep inhale that some folks do right before they speak, the air sucking sound?
Yeah, I think so. Because that's a filler. I don't do that, so I haven't noticed if it does that in the editing, but I suspect it does. Hello, Gilly Goose. Gonna come up and say hi? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you are.
For those that may not be able to join Gray Wave this time around, but interested in becoming a Patreon, would we be able to keep in touch with you all and ask questions as they come up?
You certainly becoming a patron we appreciate, but there's always an opportunity to ask us questions on our weekly webinar Wednesday. We'd like them to be kind of focused on the content that we deliver that week. And we do Foundational Fridays each week where we deliver a tutorial. We charge $10 if you're not a Gray Wave member for that, but you have an opportunity to ask us questions there as well. We don't do any Q&As, or typically I don't do Q&As or ask me anything outside of the community in between launches. Oh, but there's also the Gray Zone. We have a Facebook group, which is like Gray Wave Junior, which is called the Gray Zone, which is a place that you can go and you can ask questions. You might not get a response from me, but you'll get a response from other people who are in the space.
I have a Creative Cloud from Adobe and use Audition for podcasts. I want to use Premiere and/or Premiere Rush. Do those products have similar AI tools to Descript?
I don't know. I think Premiere is adding the text-based editing. I think if it's not there, it is coming. So those tools, those ideas don't live in a vacuum. The other editing packages see it and then they respond. So I expect that if you don't have it now, you will have it in the not too distant future.
Notebook LM says only for US users. Do you have any idea if there are similar offerings in Europe?
Notebook LM is totally unique as far as I can tell. And the workaround is to use a VPN and log in from a US-based server. And Google then has allowed me to use a Notebook LM account. That's how I did the demos. Shh, don't tell Google.
Following Ignacio's line of questioning, I'm on the info entertainment product path as a blogger via website. I hope to add YouTube once I develop a flow with producing content for blog. Is there a way to break up your audience into specific pathways and then focus on the development path to prevent overload? Would this be through a Facebook group?
Well, you're talking about really niching down, I believe, on your content, Ben, and you can do that right out of the gate. Yeah, we do that. You do that by your, if you think back to the important place to do that is in your titles and in your creating a playlist. So where one video or one blog post supports the other and leverages the other. And then they create a desire from each individual person reading it to want to kind of binge your content and consume more of your content. So you do that by staying on point and by staying on focus, and by doing calls to action inside of your content, saying, if you want more information on this, I've got this blog post coming up, or read this blog post next, or watch this video next. So you thread it together yourself through the channels. And as a matter of fact, Gord is going to be teaching starting a YouTube channel course in a couple of weeks here inside of the Gray Wave, and he'll be talking about that sort of creating playlists concept as a part of the course.
What AI is best for helping with your research?
I don't know what's best, but just try ChatGPT or just try Claude. Just whichever one you can gain access to. Claude, if you're outside of the US, I don't think you can get, but ChatGPT you can get anywhere. Just start a free account and start doing your research with it. But recognize that they will come back with hallucinations.
Which VPN do you recommend?
I don't recommend any. I use Nord VPN, but I don't recommend one because I can't tell the difference.
Did I already put this up? Oh, you know what, Christine, I actually just dropped the link in the chat. You can go to that link and it lists kind of, it gives you the idea of everything that's in the Gray Wave. Alrighty.
Yeah, we're past the top of the hour. Anybody who has to leave, this recording will be, if you want to catch the last questions and you have to run, will be inside of, we always upload the entire live session inside of the boot camp as well. So that'll be there tomorrow.
That was.
Did we lose the question from Scott?
It was just saying, can you add a transition? I'm not sure what they're referring to.
In Descript is a full editor, so you can do crossfades or jump cuts, whatever you like. Yeah, and you can. Yeah.
Are you tweaking your custom instructions?
Yes, Benjamin. The custom instructions are what I was referring to earlier when I was saying that you can modify, that you can train your chat tool to speak more in your voice. And yes, I do train, and we do speak a lot about that. That's, I think, one of the kind of the people who are more advanced in the world of AI. That's kind of one of the tools of the trade that separates those that are using AI more efficiently from the great mob is tweaking your instructions and creating custom instruction sets.
Is Cohesive a good AI content tool?
I don't know, Mary. I've never heard of Cohesive, but if you like it, yes.
Would you be able to share recommendations for entry-level audio equipment for starting a podcast?
Yeah, we've got that inside of the Gray Wave. We've got I can't share it with you right now, but there are lots of good recommended setups, depending whether you want to go USB or you want to go or you want to have an audio interface and go XLR, and but you can pretty quickly and easily set up a really decent setup. Don't just rely on us. Just do a quick search on Google and on YouTube, and there'll be some great videos on that. That
is a wrap.
Good. Was this useful today? I think we can always tell by the volume of questions that people are into this. This is the most exciting aspect of our current business. It really breathed the new energy and life into it. I've been in the technology world since, well, the 80s, and I've never seen a technology land that has the impact of AI on our communities. You know, the birth of desktop publishing, mobility, the iPhone, each one of these was a big deal, and it revolutionized parts of the industry. But AI changes the rules for everybody, everywhere. And it doesn't matter what you're going to do, it's going to impact it. And so it's up to us. We can put our head in the sand and try and ignore it and then be terrified by it, or we can try and at least understand what's happening and engage where we can, so that at least we're aware and we're knowing what's going on. And maybe we'll have a little bit of an influence on the direction it goes as a result. With that, those of you who are interested in joining us, I look forward to welcoming you into the Gray Wave. We have one more week of two more tutorials. Actually, I'm going to add one more little bonus one at the end. But we're just about 10 days away from the doors closing. So anybody who's interested in joining us in the Gray Wave, get going. We're looking forward to bringing you in. April, thank you so much. Bob, thank you so much. Everybody have a great weekend. I hope that the weather's turning and spring is landing where you all are. It certainly is here. Birds are singing. I know the grass is just sprouting. So it's a good time of year here. With that, thank you one and all. April, thank you. Till
Bye, guys.
Next week. Have fun storming a castle.